Good morning. Welcome to this webinar on searching for scholarships and MEFA Pathway for educators. Today, we'll talk about how MEFA Pathway can help students find available scholarships. Also, we'll talk about how this platform can help students build a scholarship list, as well as manage deadlines and awards for scholarships. Lastly, we'll also talk about how you as educators can add local scholarships to the counselor portal for students to view and apply. My name is Aja Stupart, and I am the MEFA Pathway Program Coordinator, and I'm so glad to be joining you all on this webinar today. Just a quick note that this webinar is being recorded, and if you have any questions, please feel free to either utilize the chat feature or reach out to us at the end of this webinar, and we'll be sure to answer your questions. Okay, to get started, I am on the mefapathway.org page. MEFA Pathway is a free, interactive, and easy portal designed for students in grades 6 through 12 to help them plan for post-secondary success. So I'm going to click on I am a student. And if you are not familiar with MEFA Pathway, we encourage students to register for an account. The registration process is pretty straightforward. They'll want to provide answers to these 5 fields, as well as input security questions and answers to those questions. And then they'll be able to submit and create their account. But if you are familiar with MEFA Pathway, we can easily sign in with our username and password. So here we have the MEFA Pathway student landing page, or dashboard, as I like to call it as well. We can see my name, we can see that I'm a 10th grade student, and we can see a variety of activities that the student can continue to work on or follow to help them stay on track. Here we have an exciting video series that we started and completed before COVID, where we went around the Commonwealth to MEFA Pathway schools to interview high school students to understand how they were using MEFA Pathway to plan for college. So to get to the scholarships page, I'm going to click on Pay for College at the top right here. And see, we have this tray of different options. So I'm going to click on scholarship search. So when students get to this page, they can either answer a few questions such as these listed here, or they can search by name or keyword if they know a particular name or keyword of a scholarship, or they can just exit out of this window completely. So I'm going to just answer these few questions just so you can see what it looks like. Full time, and then I'll put in 4-year, and then search. So these are all the scholarships that were populated based upon what I selected in those 4 questions. So we can see that there's 225 scholarships found. We can see that students can filter by award, they can filter by deadline, they can filter by study, residence, where they're planning on studying, ethnicity, type of school, military, disability, so on and so forth. And now all of our scholarships come directly from Peterson, and it's the responsibility of the scholarship organizer of sorts to make sure that the information is up to date as best as possible. So let's say this student found this particular scholarship right here, 1500 STEM scholarship. You can click on it. Students can view information about the deadline, the award type. They could view about if it's renewable. They can also view a description and eligibility and information about how to apply for this particular scholarship. If this is a scholarship that the student isn't sure that they want to add to their list, they can easily go back to their search results and they can change these filters at the top right here. Just click the X. Clear all. And now we can see we're back to the 5,864 scholarships found that are listed within this scholarship search. So I'm just going to add a scholarship in here to my list. We'll do this one. And then I'll do a couple more just so we have a complete list to look at. And to save. Okay. Now I'm going to hover over to the scholarship list. But before I do, I want to point out that these scholarships here are national scholarships. Later on in the webinar, we'll talk about how you as educators can add local scholarships here. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I wanted to point it out a little bit early just in case people have to drop off and miss it. So I'm going to go back to the scholarship list. So this is my scholarship list. So when a student saves and searches for scholarships from the scholarship search, it shows up here. They can use this list to manage scholarship deadlines. They can add a scholarship. They can remove a scholarship. They can even put the status of a scholarship that they either applied to, whether they didn't get it or not, whether they're interested. So this is a nice way for students to build a list of scholarships that they might be interested in applying to. And they can save as many as they like on here. There's no limit or anything like that. So just as an example, for this one, we can say the status of this one was interested or applied. We can say received award. Let me go through just so you can kind of see. Okay. Now let's say that you have a student that has scholarships on their list, but they want to remove the scholarship. They're no longer interested in applying to that particular scholarship. It's very easy for the student to remove that scholarship. All they have to do is select this X button right here, and it'll be removed from their list. So now we have 9 scholarships on their list. Are there any questions? Okay, so moving on, we're gonna head over to the counselor portal so we can talk about how you as educators can add local scholarships. So I'm going to log into the counselor portal. And select my school. So in this case, it would just be MEFA Academy as a test. Okay, so once you're logged into the counselor portal, and the first thing you're going to want to do to be able to add local scholarships is you want to hover over to where it says admin. There's a blue chevron, you click on that. And in the drop down, there's an option that says local scholarships. So I'm going to select local scholarships. And here we have the local scholarships that I have added for my particular school. So any student that goes to my school, in this case, MEFA Academy, will see these scholarships in the local scholarship search feature on the student side. To add a local scholarship, all you have to do is select create a new scholarship. And you'll want to put in the details of the scholarship. So if you have a name, let's say, and then you put a description. And then you want to put in the status, so put active. You want to put in the student status, so you can put in full-time. You'll also want to put in the individual award for this, so you can put 1, and then how much for this particular scholarship is it worth, so you can put 1,000 or any amount. You want to put in if it's renewable, so put no. We'll put date, and then you'll want to make sure you put in a deadline for the scholarship. So we'll just do 30th, and then you want to put in any eligibility requirements, any scholarship contact information, and then you can submit this form. So we can see it right here. The other thing that I want to mention is that you can also add in an attachment. So typically, if a student is applying for a scholarship and let's say that they're having trouble accessing the website or like the URL, if you upload an attachment, students can view that as well in the local scholarship search. So for example, here's an attachment of a scholarship information. So we'll click on Save a Tree. And this just pops up and it allows the student, or will allow the student to be able to see that as well in case they don't have access or have trouble getting the information on the website. So we're going to go back, going to make one edit. Okay, save, submit. Okay, so we added our scholarship, our local scholarship rather, within the counselor portal. Now we're going to see how this particular scholarship that we added, the local scholarship, what the student can see. So I'm going to go back to my account. So I'm still logged in to the student portal. I'm going to go back to scholarship search, hit X, and I'm going to, instead of staying on the national scholarships page, I'm going to select a local scholarship. And here we can see that the new scholarship that I just added in the counselor portal, the new local scholarship, has shown up so that the student, in this case me, I can see the scholarship that was added. Then I can also save it, and I can also save this one as well. Talking earlier about the attachment, so if a student comes to a scholarship, and let's say that they are having trouble accessing or applying for the scholarship directly on, the scholarship's website or wherever they would go to apply, you can upload an attachment on the counselor portal side, and the student will see that as well. And this is an example of an attachment here. It's a document that opens in Word, and they'll be able to see it as well. Just as an example, we have description of the scholarship here. And then we can go back. So it's pretty straightforward to add scholarships, local scholarships in the counselor portal. If you have any other questions, or if you have any run into any challenges trying to add local scholarships, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help you. And that concludes this webinar. Thank you so much for joining today on this particular webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to either send us an email or follow up with us after the end of this webinar. And I hope everyone has a great day.